This is a recap video from the 2008 Great Divide Ride, but it was done 11 years after the ride. 4 of the original 6 participants attended. I hope you enjoy the recording.
I got a question for you. What was your favorite day? Your very favorite day on the first trip, on this trip? Stumped him the first question.
Every day was our favorite day, except for that one day we did the single track.
Yeah, that wasn't on that trip.
That was Joel's day.
That was my bad.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah. I looked at the map and I said, this looks like a fun thing. It connects right back up to with our regular trail.
Oh.
And
Where was it?
it was in
Colorado.
Yeah, and it was a single track with a lot of roots and steep hills, and it just got getting worse and worse and worse.
I've been on enough of those that I know that they look like 12 miles on the map, but they're really about 30 or 40.
Yeah. And so we beat our way up as far as we could, and then Alan was ahead, and he hollered back, we got to turn around. Well, the place where we had to turn around, it was on the side of the hill, and there was hill above it, and there was hill below it, and then the trail.
It wasn't even as wide as the stable.
And Andy had already gone down, and I said I needed to turn around. So I just put it in first gear and went up the hill, and to back down. I backed down just a little too far.
He disappeared.
That was my bike landing. And
It seemed like you accelerated about Mach 1 going back.
He disappeared over the edge, and the bike hit a log where the tree had fallen down there, and if he hadn't hit that, it probably slid on down the hill.
It would slow too.
Rob,
what were you
might still
riding?
be there.
KLR?
I was riding a hot rod dually pickup. I had.
They made those trails real good.
Well, yeah, I hadn't recovered from the last dirt ride I went with this guy on in Moab. Cracked 2 ribs, tore a meniscus, had to have knee surgery, so I was still all stapled up. So they talked me into being the designated truck driver.
Oh.
But the story about the Moab thing was that we'd all gotten these new knee braces, asterisks. Alan got one first, I got some, and we got to talk Rod to get in. So I was on a trip down to Mexico, and I called to see how they were doing out in Moab. And I called Rod, and I said, how'd it go today? He said, well, could have been better. He said, I fell, and I said, well, thank God you had those new asterisk knee braces on. He said, well, I thought they'd be too hot, so I left them in the hotel room.
They were still in the box up on the dresser in the motel.
Wasn't near as hot as that cast.
That cost me some knee surgery, and anyway, that's why I wasn't riding a motorcycle. However, this gentleman did put his 525 KTM on the trailer just in case. But my wife caught me sneaking my gear out the garage, and she wouldn't let me take my gear, so I didn't get to ride at all. But anyway, I had a motorcycle, I just couldn't ride it. But I did every day I did my best not to tear up his brand new hot rod truck, and that was a chore, trust me.
So we had to go 20 miles out of the way sometimes, so we wouldn't have to back it up.
It had this. It was a huge pickup with the dualies and everything, and it had a motorcycle trailer, and all you could see was the handlebars of that KTM we brought, just barely sticking up. So you couldn't back it up. And so sometimes I would go, and this is not an exaggeration. Of course, I don't exaggerate anyway, but. I literally went 20 miles one day to find a turnaround because I couldn't back the damn thing up. Anyway. However, I did back it up. We were staying at these cabins in where?
Kremlin, Colorado.
Kremlin, Colorado, and they hadn't come in yet. And the cabins were up on this hill, and there was this big circular turnaround. And I thought, they've been bugging me and teasing me about not being able to back this trailer. So I worked and backed this trailer up, way up the hill, got it down beside the cabins, and I mean, it was perfectly between these cabins. Perfect. I got down, I looked at it and went, damn it, that's the wrong cabin. So I had to do the whole thing over again. So anyway.
Yeah, we were running late that day.
Yeah,
That was the day that we tried to,
Yeah.
it was my bright idea to do the single track thing. and we were delayed, and then we came to the big deep water crossing. And that was Andrew's virgin trip across the water like that. So all of us got across, and we're ready, got our cameras out, ready to take Andrew's picture going across the water and everything. My battery went dead before he decided to go across. It was about 15 minutes. He just sat there with the engine running, and sometimes he would gun it a little bit, but you look. He's gotten a lot better since then.
But we never passed a car wash, did we?
Oh, he's got over that too, because every day he'd find a car wash.
Back in those days, we still had to stop at every car wash.
Red, white, and blue is okay, but red, white, blue, and brown didn't work then.
Well, you saw the pictures in the video, it stayed pretty clean.
It did.
Yeah.
Right towards the end, I got a little dusty. but-
Yeah, well, it got a little muddy, because that's why we had to end the trip.
Well, did it need rain?
We got down to south of Cuba, and that's when it got so muddy that we just couldn't go any further. We ended up in
Espanola.
Espanola, right, that's where we had our last night.
That single track, was that in Colorado?
Yeah.
We hit it running too. We hit a single track one time. Wassel was leading. That'll be your first clue. It was off trail. We went up it, and I swear, we're in the Tulies. They're not a town within 10 miles, and we're in the middle of a single track trail set of commode. I mean,
Gotta be somewhere.
intact commode.
Just in case.
Remember that, Ron?
I remember that.
So tell us some of the stats about when y'all took the ride and where you started and where you ended and some of that info.
Well, according to the records I could find, we rode from July 7th through July 17th. I tried to add up the miles. It ended up being about 2,130 miles in 11 days. But we about decided we had another stop in here that I missed, because I've got one day that shows 350 miles, and we didn't do a day that long. So
Somewhere in Mount Newton.
Between Butte or Bozeman, we stopped. Because it took us 5 days to get out of Montana.
So Alan had his big truck and trailer, and Rod and Alan and I drove up there, and Andy and Jeff flew in, and we picked them up at the airport.
then I guess Don must have flown as well.
Yeah, Don did fly with us, fine.
It took 5 days to ride Montana?
Just to get out of Montana, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of
You start wondering
territory
if you're
up
ever
there.
gonna make it to Mexico when it takes 5 days just to get out of Montana.
And we didn't. We tried.
So I had participants in the ride. Was Joel Watson. He rode a KTM 640 Enduro. Alan Riley had a KTM 950 Adventure. Rod Mullins had access to a KTM 450. Andy Jones rode a BMW 650 Dakar. And then Jeff Hutchinson rode a KLR 650 Gen 1. And then Don Mills rode a KLR Gen 2.
Correct.
As you're watching the video, who in the video looked the youngest to you, that you thought?
Oh, it had to be me.
We all had helmets on.
Don Mills.
This same person, I know, still wears the same adventure gear.
Yeah.
Andy.
He does.
Andy.
Andrew, you're right. You did
Yeah.
look the youngest.
And then we already know the story about whose bike was on the trailer the most. Thank you, Rod.
It's always on the trailer.
Then the obvious question was who can flatfoot a KTM 640 Adventure with both feet? Joel.
And that thing had a 39-inch seat height at rest.
How did Jeff Hutchinson do?
He did fine.
He did great.
Now Don, that was his maiden tour.
That makes a difference.
Jeff was kind of like riding in a zone all the time. He sat down the entire trip. I never saw him stand up on the peg. But he's so focused on what he's doing, he'd go right by us and never see us.
Alan and I were way ahead one time, and we were in an open area with a wide road. And we're sitting there right on the left-hand side of the Y, in plain sight.
We're out in the middle of the Great Basin of Wyoming.
Yeah, and here comes Jeff riding by. We figured he's just gonna pull right in. he just kept going. So I said, I guess we're gonna have to go get him. Alan said, I'm not going. So I took out after him, and I mean, he'd gotten a pretty good start on him by that time, and I was having to pedal pretty good to catch up with him, and I couldn't get his attention. I'd pull up right next, I'd rev the engine, I'd blow the horn, and he's just going out. Then finally, I just pulled up next to him and hit him in the arm. He jerked around. I said, "That away."
Of course, I was in charge of the rooms every night, and Don Mills and I were rooming together, and so I would buy a bag of ready ice to wrap his elbow in every night with duct tape, because it was swollen up like a grapefruit. But the main thing was that when everybody came in at night, they always wanted to know why Don and I had the best accommodations, and it was just coincidence. I have no idea why we always had the best room, but it just happened that way. So.
Unless you happen to get the water on the bed, then you take.
Well, there's accidents happen.
Yeah, I rode at the back, and I could keep track of Joel and Alan by looking for the dust cloud on down the way. I could see the dust that they were throwing up. But I had to stay back because I helped pick up that KLR about 50 times. Old Don was struggling.
I thought that's a big bike for Don.
Well, see, that's normally Rick's job, but he was not on that trip.
Yeah. Well, it was a big bike. It was new to Don, and then Don was hurt, so he had all those factors going against him.
But go ahead.
Well, he was new to off-road, and
I'll tell you what, he was persistent.
he didn't give up.
He didn't.
I mean, it was just like
give up.
Alaska when he got all banged up. He wouldn't give up, and you got to say that for him. You know?
We had another Don like that down at the ranch.
Well, but this, I mean, you saw that
Crash Don.
picture in Dixon, Colorado, with the old Oldsmobile cop car. Well, going into Dixon was a stretch of road we've never ridden before. It was, I don't know, it was pumice. What do you call it?
The ground up volcanic rock.
And it was like riding on ball bearings. I mean, you could go slow, it didn't work. You go fast, it didn't work. It was just, it was tough. So we got through it. Al and I waited and waited and waited. And we didn't want to go back through it. So we waited a long time. And finally we see the three of them coming. And but all of a sudden, Don takes out into the middle of the desert. He wasn't going to ride that road anymore. So he took out in the middle of the desert, and he gets stuck up to the axle.
Oh, God.
So I walk out over there, and I was getting ready to give him a hard time about it, but I've never seen, I mean, he literally looked like he was in shock. He was just ashen. And he would just kept mumbling something about, I'll never get it out of here, that type of thing. And so I said, just walk on back to Alan, get some water, we'll be all right. You can't get it out. You can't get it out. It's stuck. So I moved it back and forth a few times and got it out, but he was, I think he was done for that day. It's thank goodness we were just around the corner from the motel.
He didn't use any profanity, did he?
Actually, that was one time he did. He was
tired.
I mean, I don't know how many times before that you guys had to.
I picked that bike up dozens of times before we got that far. But to give Don credit, he did not quit. He kept going. And when we got back, he signed up for one of those adventure ride training deals. Which one did he go to?
It was
Rawhide Adventures. And it made a world of difference in his riding skills going to that rawhide school.
And he bought a proper motorcycle.
Well,
Yeah, the 250 helped him out a lot.
Well, I'll tell you how tough Don is. When we went to Alaska, we were going up to the last stretch of the Haul Road, up and back from Weissman.
Yeah.
And so we're on a 500-mile day. 50 miles in there, he hits a soft spot. I'm riding right in front of him, and it's one of those real fluff spots, and you have to gas it going through there. And I looked back in the rearview mirror, and all I saw was a huge cloud of, like an atomic bomb had gone off. And Don had gone down hard and tore both the panniers off, and I mean, he was black and blue on his ribs and everything. And we were 50 miles into a 500-mile day. And we tried to talk him into going back, and because Bert Simpson was staying back there anyway, so he said, nope, I came this far, I'm going to go. And he rode 450 more miles like that.
And it didn't get any easier.
He did great.
When you get up there, you wonder, why in the world did I ride on this
Yeah.
road?
This box didn't need to be checked. you know?
Yeah.
They were just glad I was along when we got up there and they needed gas because I had the only charge card.
We go up down the road looking for the gas station. They say it's just right down the street. We were eating lunch there, and it's just right down the street. We got up there. Where's the damn gas station? Well, it was obviously indoors. You know, we didn't know. All of us tried our credit cards. That was something.
There was some
And
expensive gas.
we had to pay him back, and that's the most expensive gas I've ever bought, I'll tell you that.
Can you believe those environmentalists are trying to keep them from drilling up there close to Prudhoe Bay? That's one only place in the world I know of that refinery is the prettiest thing around.
That's right. What amazed me is, you know, you see them on the elk and the antelope, everything, they're all out around the pipeline.
Yeah.
And I thought it was because it was warmer. But a guy from Alaska told me that the reason is because the flies aren't as bad around the pipeline. And they get away, they try to get out of where those flies.
Of course, he'll believe anything.
I'm sure y'all stopped at where they had that pig station and told all about the pipeline there. That's where we learned about.
Now, when you say pig station, nobody's gonna know what you're talking about.
It's the things that go through the pipeline, cleans it out.
Yeah, that pipeline's amazing. I know it has nothing to do with the Continental Divide, but you know, that's an amazing feat of engineering, I'll tell you.
But I'll tell you, I guess this was our first really, in the group, for a long dual sport ride.
That was my very first.
Been on a lot of dual sport rides, but not anything of that length.
Right, that was day after day.
And I'm just looking at that back in 11 years, looking at all the rides we've been on since then. And look at the number of people that have.
I remember the first couple of adventure rides I tried to put together after that. I would struggle to get a crew of 8 people signed up, and now I can put one together and we got 3 teams of 8.
Yeah.
No time at all. It's real popular.
Yeah.
But being up there, like in the mountains of Montana and Colorado, I was just startled at how beautiful the scenery was. And you could stop and it would be just quiet as can be, and you could look around and just soak it in, the beauty of the country. And that's what kind of sold me on doing those adventure rides. Don't have to worry about getting run over by cars. You get out there and you can see the beauty of the country without all of the headache of the traffic, and no noise pollution either. So it was.
Yeah, you mentioned something about mosquitoes at one point being a problem.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember, there was a picture of a beautiful lake and with a little road leading down to it. We thought, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. We got to go down there and take some pictures. I've never seen many mosquitoes in my life. They were just on us like a heartbeat.
We had Alaska, a guide, tell us why. We was asking him before we went that first time, how about the mosquitoes, and he said, "Well, I'll tell you." He said, "We got them up here so big they stand flat-footed and make love to a turkey."
That's a mosquito.
Well, we were really lucky with weather. We really didn't have any.
We didn't have
I
any
don't
rain.
remember any bad weather until we got
down to New Mexico when it got some muddy, but we wouldn't, because it just rained. And it just got, New Mexico mud is, Chris knows well.
Did y'all go all the way down to the border?
No, we couldn't make it because of the mud in the area up south of Cuba. So we
Well, if you go down there now, you can get some passengers all back.
yeah, that's for sure.
Yep.
Well, this year we're going to start from the southern border and go north. We're going to ride the southern half of it and still do New Mexico, Colorado, and into Wyoming, get up to Rawlins, and that's where we'll stop.
So there's another 5 days from Rawlins to the border?
7 days.
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That mud could be a problem on that part.
Yeah.
The southern part, are you talking about?
Yeah.
Mud and forest fires. We tried to ride that twice now.
That's
And
right.
The first time was mud, and the second time we got forest fire. You were with us on that time.
I want to say south of Pie Town, we ran into a lot of really bad mud.
High Town, we couldn't find any pies either.
Well, see, now I've been to Pie Town 3 times. And I've always been on a day that the pie place is closed. So do you know what day we're going through?
It's a Wednesday, we're gonna go through there on Wednesday.
I ain't gonna do it. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. is
That's
Wednesday.
right.
Gotta change it.
I think I may just spend the night in Pie Town.
Well, we're staying just west of it.
There's 2 places now that sell pies in Pie Town.
Yeah, but the place.
Close on the-
They
oh, the
only
place.
open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I've been to the other place, Pie Town Cafe.
Yeah.
But that's
Across the street from,
yeah, you just
It
had to
was
look,
closed.
we just had to look through the window and look at the pies.
that's where that drool's all over the window.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming and watching the 2008 Great Divide Ride again, and you guys for participating and telling us some of the stories. So we're going to ride the northern or southern section going north. Andy's already got divided the teams up, and there's 3 teams for that. So that's going to be in late August and early September. So this is 11 years after that ride. So to me, that was pretty amazing right there. So anyway, thank you, and thank everybody for showing up.
Thanks for that.
You need to